Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is OEF5. I was called out by Hickman Outdoors, JT, Fishing with Gramps, to do a review of my Blackpack and how I have it set up. Now, I have the 16 by 16 Blackpack Pro. I won this at the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship last year in a raffle. It is in the tan, which was completely random. But if any of you know me, this would have been the one I bought because my boat's camouflaged and I just love desert tan. So, how do I have it set up? So on the outside, I've got the handles on both sides. I have the 4 included rod holders, 3 on the back, 1 on the side. Now, why do I have it set up like this? Well, this one is the rod that I'm going to use first. So, like at the Challenge Series Championship, I knew I was going to fish a buzzbait first thing in the morning. So the rod that had my buzzbait on it was sitting right here. And the way I have my boat set up, my net sits right here as well. So I want to get this out of the way. So when I'm done fishing with this rod, I just lay it down in the front of my boat, and then I'll grab another one, and then I'll put them back in the back and always leave one out of here so it's not in the way of my net. You're like, well, why don't you mount anything on the other side? We'll get there. So I have one latch instead of two. It's easier for me just to have the one latch. I don't transport. This is either in the back end of my truck or in the back seat of my truck, depending on how I pack. But I only need the one latch because it's easier for me with my bad shoulder and stuff just to reach back and undo one because I can't fully turn around in my seat. My boat's a little smaller, so I just have the one. I went ahead and put a Yak Attack deep track on. It's the metal version. I had it on my other Blackpack, and then I mounted a lock and load, and I've got the Panfish Pro because I live stream on Twitch, so it's got the phone mount on it. My cord for charging is tied to it, and yeah, that's a really long cord, but that's what I need just to make sure I've got plenty of space. I've got this mounted basically right over my left shoulder. I can reach it and check it and do things, if something happens with the stream, right over my shoulder. I'm not trying to reach back. It is literally right here, out of the way of any casting or netting or anything. And then on this side, I have the catch board mounted in the slide that you can get from Catch on this because I don't have anywhere really in the front of my boat because of the way I have my boat set up to store my board, so I leave it here. Yes, I gave up some rod space, but that's okay. I only have like 5 or 6 rods anyway, so I just plan out what I'm gonna do and what rods I'm gonna need before I go out.
What's up, Freedom Squad? Freedom Squad! Jeremy's over there unloading. I just got out. Here's my little setup for Salma. Salma the kayak. So there's my Blackpack. I got my catch board. I got my camera arm for live streaming on Twitch. I got the seat, paddle, Bonafide RS117. And then twitch.tv/OEF5. Got your coffee. Got my battery pack for charging stuff. And then the Blackpack with Catch 22, Fish Ops, Freedom Squad.
So with the one latch, it's easy for me to reach back, so it's right behind my seat. I can just reach back, boom, click it once, and we can see what's inside. So the first box that's on top, and I keep them in the same order so that I can get them in and out, is my buzzbait and spinnerbait box. I need to reorganize this. This is straight off the water. I went fishing yesterday, so it's got all sorts of stuff in here. But that's my buzzbait and spinnerbait box. So we've got that. Then I have some nice bait fuel, right? I keep my bait fuel in there. Let's not forget coffee. Let's get some more sponsorship in here with Yeti from KBF. Gotta have some coffee, some Black Rifle coffee and a Yeti. Then over here, I also have my Thermacell for bugs and a bag that has, and I keep the trash in here too that I need to clean out and redo, but I keep all of the fuel and the pads for the thermocell are all in here, so it's all contained and it stays in my Blackpack. Because nobody wants to deal with bugs. And I used the crap out of this when I went night fishing this year, and it does work. It really does. I was like, yeah, does it really work? And there were some evenings that when even Jeremy and I were out on Stone Arch, I turned my bow lights on and there was a cloud of bugs. I mean, a cloud of bugs. Now, I was still getting some on me, but there was a cloud of mosquitoes and stuff all just outside the range of me, which I was like, that's a win. Yay, Thermacell. Hashtag not sponsored. The other thing I have in here is I've got some snacks. This is some beef sticks, and then I got a couple of Kind bars down in there. And then the last thing that is not really fishing related, this is my power cord for my yak power to power my boat for my lights. My fish finder is totally separate. I have a Dakota Lithium 23 amp hour battery in a Pelican case that has USB ports and an SAE adapter on it so that it will take power from the battery to the boat. And I have a SAE on Salma and have it all wired up with the buttons and the switches and all that stuff. But this is my power cable to run the power on my boat. So we got that in there. Box number 1 that sits in the back. This is a 3700. It's my jerkbait box and some shad Rapala crankbaits that aren't necessarily, they're the shad wraps. I really like these. I like the profile. Now, they're not my favorite crankbait. However, I do like these. It's just how I have this set up. So my jerk baits are in there. And that's what I keep in there. So I've always got a box of jerk baits. I'm not like Gramps where I have so much bait that I need to not take everything, because pretty much you're going to see all of my gear. The only thing I have a lot of extra of is soft plastics. And it's just because they wear out and, you got to have a lot of soft plastics. Next box, this is the crankbait box. In here is mostly KVD 1.5s, but I've got some other crankbaits in here, older models. I also have, I've got my lipless in here. This is a really nice box because it's deep, and each one of these wells will hold 3 or 4 of the 1.5s. Like, so I put them in there by color, even if they're hard knock or not. I've got them in there, and then I can just pull them out as I need. I've got my 6-inch trace, 6-inch trace. I just got that this year, just started fishing with it. I've caught 1 fish on it, and it was a little fish. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, like you can see, I've got my lipless in here. I've got some odds and end crankbaits here, but then the rest of them are sorted out to be the 1.5s by color and whether they're a hard knock or not. So if I'm wanting to fish the juice that was going on for knucklehead, which was the black chartreuse, blackback chartreuse, but they were using the crush by 6 cents. I've got these two. These are the only 2 I have left because I lost all of them. But I have a silent one and I got a hard knock one. So I just go in, if I want to do silent or the hard knock, I just grab one and tie it on. But that's my crankbait box. And I'll restock over the winter. I'll get some more, right? Next box that I have is top water. So in here, I've got my sexy dogs and some popping frogs. I've got the Teckle frogs. I've got some poppers, some actual pop R's, some original spitting shads, and just some popping baits. I think these are the Lucky Craft. I'm pretty sure these are Lucky Craft poppers. Yeah. So just, these are just top water hard baits. And then the Teckle frogs I've got in here with the extra tails. I've got a trash panda and another trash panda popping frog. Now, the reason why you're like, where are the rest of your frogs at? I thought you were a big hollow body guy. We'll see that in a second. Because I've fished them so much, I've got a whole separate place that I've kept them. But I'm going to throw them back in here. So that's top water. Next, we have a Plano 3600, and this is kind of a catch-all. I've got some mag drafts in here. I've got Ned rig stuff in here, and you can see I actually set up I named it my Ned rig box, but I've repurposed it. I've got some jigs in here that won't fit in my jig box. But yeah, I got a mag draft. I got Hellraisers. I've got the Ned heads. I've got some of the Ned baits in here that I made. These are black and red. Midwest Finesse by Do It Molds. I've got, some of these big old jigs in pumpkin and red. And I got a black and blue in here. So this is like my little catch-all box of just odds and end baits that, see, here's the mag draft of things. I've got a fluke tied on in here. I got a shad tied on in here. So this is just a catch-all of stuff that's not a dedicated box. Last but not least is my Plano soft plastics bag. Now this is not all this is just what stays in my boat that I'm gonna fish with. I got handmade Cincos. Those are some June bug and chartreuse tail, or just straight June bug. I've got some CBC Carolina Basco worms. I've got here's a bag of flukes that I made. Some finesse worms. I've got rage bugs. And then I've got a whole bunch of empty. I got some lizards in here too. So I load this as I need it, but pretty much I'm going to use rage bugs all the time. Like I like creature baits, Texas rigging them. You're like, well, where are your Senkos? Where's your, yeah, we're going to get to that. So that's what's actually in the black pack. It's empty now, except for the snacks they're in the bottom of it. So what else? You're like, where's your terminal box and stuff? I keep 2 boxes under my seat. And then I have a third box that is very situational. That is a Plano 3600, just the original, not one of the edges. That I'll put, maybe I'll load it into the side of my boat if I need it. And it's got some swim baits and stuff in it. But here is what actually goes under my seat. So this is a Spro bag. And as you can see, it is full. I've broken the zipper. It's got all sorts of stuff in it. This is my junk drawer. All right. So if I'm going to cut a bait off, I throw it in here. I load up extra soft plastics of stuff that I think I'm going to need. Throw it in here. Now I've got a plastic bag and some stuff that I keep in my truck. So if I need, if I go and like when we went to American Legacy, I bought some Yamaduki things. Never fished them. They were sitting in the truck. But if I was going to fish them and I didn't want to put them in that bag, I just stick them in here for the day and then I take them out. So I was fishing yesterday and I threw the mini mag draft. So I cut it off and threw it in here so it's not laying in the bottom of my boat. And then I can put it back in my box. I've got some Zacos. These are the white and chartreuse Garryama Zacos for trailers for my chatterbait. More Zacos. This is the shad, or this is the bluegill, black and blue. So I keep my trailers in there because if I have to replace them, I want to be able to get to them quick. So I just pull them out from underneath my seat. I got some underspin stuff, right? So I'm thinking about fishing some underspin, so I just threw it in there. This is my catch-all bag. So there's another underspin. The dreaded Berkeley Blue Fleck Power Worm. Yeah. I've got some swimbait shads in here. I bought these and used these down in when we went last year in Alabama, on Hero Lake. I've got, and I fished this yesterday, some Berkeley power bait. This is a creature craw. So basically, I just load up all my soft plastics, and I got some rage bugs and all sorts of stuff in here, some finesse worms, just thrown in there because I thought maybe I might need them. Here's some more creature baits. Okay. Here's some little jig heads. This is a junk drawer of junk drawers of stuff. Here's some white rage tail, twin tail crawl trailers. Here's some more shaky head weights. Here's a white buzz toad. So this is a catch-all bag. All right. So if I cut something off, I'm throwing it in here. Here is Spro Frog. Here is the crankbait that I caught my fish on at the Challenge Series Championship. It's right here. This is the one that I was catching all my fish on. Hard knock. See? Hard knock. So I cut it off because I put the buzzbait back on and threw it in my bag. I got a bag of worm rattles in here. I've got some in my terminal box too. We're going to get to that. So all this stuff's going to get sorted out. But this is just at the end of the year. My black Spro Frog. Okay. Because I throw it a lot and I just leave it in there. Soft plastics that have been trailers or whatever, or, you know, just so it's not in the bottom of my boat. This is my junk drawer. This one still has, I was fishing shaky head. I got a black and blue chatterbait in here that I cut off and threw in here and haven't put back. Little spinnerbait that I need to put in my spinnerbait box. Tiny little spinnerbait. I have an underweight that I cut off for swimming. Got to put a 1/8 ounce tungsten weight from a Texas rig that I cut off. Got to go back in my terminal box. The hook that goes with it, right? So this is my junk drawer. Oh, the bead's in there too. So there it is, empty. So that's everything. I just load this up and use it throughout the day. So that's my junk drawer. Okay. And then the other two boxes that always go on my boat under my seat are these two right here. First one is my terminal box. Can't go anywhere without my terminal box, right? So this is always in my boat. Always. Always, always, always. I don't ever leave the boat ramp without it. And it's got a little bit of everything in it. It's got 1/0, 4/0, 3/0. It's got EWGs. It's got some swivels for Carolina rigging. It's got the underspin weights. It's got some jig heads for swim baits. It's got some little tools to sharpen hooks and clean hook eyes. It's got the worm rattles. I've got stoppers for pegging weights. I've got all of my Texas rig weights here in the top, right? So this box is awesome. Love it. This is the first Edge box I bought. And once I got this one, I'm like, I'm not buying any other tackle boxes ever again. So I got this one. And then the last box that goes and stays in my boat. This is my jigs and chatterbait box. So all my chatterbaits are on one side, all of my jigs are on the other side. Now, some of the other jigs that wouldn't fit in here because the way their heads are made, they just slide out, and I don't like it. They're in that catch-all box, that little 3600. So there's that. But yeah, this is really cool. If you want to organize your chatterbaits, and if you got a whole bunch of chatterbaits, this is the box for you. You can do them by color, by style. Like, I don't own that many, so mine are just all in here, and I know what one's what and just grab it out as I need it. So yeah, that's what's in OEF5's Blackpack and how OEF5 has his Blackpack set up to go fishing. We'll throw some B-roll in of how it looks on the boat and all that stuff. But I'm going to call out Mr. Ryan Rice, RJM Fishtails, and the team captain of Wendell Fishing, Darren Wendell. You two, let's see your black packs and get out on the water, fish some KBF events for Catch 22, the Knucklehead Challenge. Get into fishing if you're a bank fisherman and you want to get into kayak fishing, you want to learn about kayak fishing. I'm normally live on Twitch, twitch.tv/OEF5. There's Alex on the Water on Twitch. Most of these guys on YouTube that are kayak fishermen are going to help you get into a kayak. There's Chad Hoover, Gene, Fluke Master Jensen. You're going to learn tons about kayak fishing. Out of all of the people that were at the Knucklehead, all of the influencers, all of them are kayak fishermen. And we had a great time meeting everybody. Yeah, so that was the review of my black pack and all of the things that I take out with me on the water and how I have my boat set up. Get out there, go fishing, have fun. And remember everything about the mental aspects of being out and fishing and how just being outdoors is such a boost to your mental health. I can't stress it enough. It relieves so much stress. Even if you put stress on yourself about fishing, it is still better than sitting by yourself. Each one, get out there and take somebody else fishing or just go fishing yourself. Have a great day.